Hi, welcome to another Saturday episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today we're going to talk about health issues. And one health area we're going to really dive into is the lymphatic system. A lot of people may not know just how important that particular system is to our body and the way our bodies function. But if you don't know the importance of it, it can also put you in a life and death situation. Today we have two beautiful ladies that are going to basically share with you their health journey and why not knowing so much about the lymphatic system made them dive deeper into the study of it, and more importantly, the need to educate and create an environment for individuals who need to know about this particular topic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Miss Nina Venturella and Carol Grant from the company, I call it by its initials because it's too long for me to pronounce, MWA. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. We're so glad to be here. It's Majestic Wellness Academy. It's good.
So what's the name of the company again for the viewers?
Majestic Wellness Academy.
Okay, before we get into exactly what the Academy is and what it does, let's start with you, Nina. Tell a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your health journey, and then we'll go over to Carol, okay?
Sure. Well, okay, so I'm one of those people who Thanks, Andre. I appreciate it. So my journey was it started when I was in my 20s. This was over 30 years. Gosh, 30 years ago. About 30 years ago. And I went to bed healthy and I woke up sick. And it felt like all my organs were shutting down at one time. I can't explain it, but it felt like the fatigue was so overwhelming. I could barely even get my head up off the pillow. And it was very uncommon. Never felt like that anything like that before in my life. And so I thought it was the flu. And after about 3 weeks, it got progressively worse. The symptoms were even more magnetized. And I'm like, okay, something's not right. So I went to the doctor and they're like, well, let's do some tests. And then I went to another doctor and more tests and then labs and everything else. And their prognosis was, there's nothing wrong with you. It's in your head. You're overworked and you're stressed out. We can't find anything wrong. So they gave me some antidepressants and sent me on my way. And this journey went on for about 2 years. I was bedridden out of those 2 years. I was bedridden for about 6 months where I could not get out of bed. The brain fog was so intense. I couldn't put together a sentence. All I wanted to do was sleep. I had muscle aches at rest. So my body was just aching constantly. I had hives and rashes throughout my entire body. My digestive system was a mess. I don't want to get graphic, but you can kind of figure that out. And everything was just kind of haywire. And I got to the point where I literally thought I was dying. And I was in my 20s and I was talking to a friend of mine and she's like, well, have you gone to a naturopath? And I'm like, well, what is that? Now, don't forget, this is many years ago. Mm-hmm. She goes, well, it's opposite of a doctor. I'm like, well, then let me go try it because nothing else is working, right? And I mean, when I went through specialists, scans, everything. They all said the same thing. So I went to a naturopath. I talked to her on the phone first and she said, okay, come on in. Let's take a look at you. She looked at my eyes, my tongue, my fingernails. She goes, I know what you have. I'm like, how do you know what I have? She's like, well, I can tell just by the symptoms. And from what you said, you've got something called candida, but it's systemic, which means your body is receiving it as normal. So it's not trying to fight. And I said two things. I said, what the heck is that? Mm-hmm. And is it terminal? Right. And she said, well, it can get terminal because it's a precursor to other disease. So we want to combat this. And she said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on a very specific diet because what's happening is you have a yeast growth in your body. It's not vaginal. It's actually in your gut. And it's overtaking all your good bacteria, all your good flora. And it's shutting your system down very quickly. So she put me on this amazing diet. And when I say amazing, I mean, it was ridiculous. I can eat like 5 things. And one of them was spelt. I don't know, Carol, if you've ever eaten spelt. It's like eating cardboard.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible. There's no taste whatsoever. I'm Italian. I'm from
Nina,
Chicago.
what's it called again? What's the food called again?
Spelt. Splet. It's like eating cardboard.
What is it? Is it a protein? Is it a carbohydrate?
It's a bread.
Bread.
It's a wannabe bread, I guess, whatever you want to call it, or a grain to be able to.
It's actually it's a grain.
It's a grain, yeah. I ate it in a bread, so that's why I said bread. But it's horrible. They've come a long way, though, haven't they, Carol?
So let me ask a question real quick, Nina.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question real quick, Nina. You said you have been suffering for quite some time. You went to, how many doctor's appointments did you actually probably wind up attending?
About 30 to 40.
And they did blood work and nobody came back with nothing.
They all said the same thing. We can't find anything wrong with you.
But you still went back home with the same symptoms and so forth. And pretty much with the gut being impacted, you put yourself in a life-threatening situation.
Yes.
Okay. Carol, what about you? What was a little bit on your story?
Well, same sort of thing. You go along and you're fine, and then literally one day I was out for dinner with my family, and I have an anaphylactic reaction, allergic reaction to seafood, and we were at a Mexican restaurant, and I thought that whatever I ate, I was having that reaction because it's horrible. Like everything in your body starts swelling up, you start losing consciousness, your face goes numb, and so they took me to the hospital. And they gave me all the appropriate drugs, which actually made whatever was going on worse, and sent me home and said, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. It wasn't an allergic reaction. We can't find anything wrong in your blood or in all these other tests that we're doing, so we're sending you home. Mm-hmm. What that happened, it was a catalyst to shut my entire system down. I was actually bedridden for almost 3 years. I started doing exactly what Nina did, is go to every regular doctor, every holistic doctor, anything you could try. I finally ended up, after 2 years, I went to the Mayo Clinic in Arizona because I really thought I was dying. My body wouldn't hold on to anything I ate. I'd eat it, it would flush right out. Mm-hmm. I was getting so weak. I lost like 40 pounds in about 30 days. It was awful. So the Mayo Clinic, same thing. They did all of the tests they can do for all of the major diseases like MS and diabetes and Crohn's and like all of the cancers and everything. And they said, we can't find anything wrong with you, right? So they said to me, it's long-term chronic stress. So you need to relax and slow down and not do as many things.
I'm pretty sure you guys were under stress. I'm pretty sure you was under stress when somebody in the medical field tells you there's nothing they can do about it, but yet and still, you still have these symptoms. I can't even believe that a hospital would even send you home, or more importantly, have other resources. Did they offer you other resources outside of them?
No. I mean, other than specialists, but they didn't give me any lifestyle changes or any nutritional changes or anything other than the naturopath that told me not to eat certain foods. And I lost like 30 pounds myself. I went down to like 80 pounds. I'm like, you can't live like that. So no, we didn't get the answers we were looking for. So Nina, we had to become our own health advocates.
So Nina, you went and you guys both took matters in your own hands. Nina, you wind up going to this holistic type way.
Correct.
And she recommended several things to you. What happened when she recommended these things to your body?
Well, like I said, I lost a lot of weight, so there's no way you can't be consistent with that. I was 80 pounds. I'm like, this isn't working. So I was a personal trainer nutritionist at the time, and I still am actually. And so I called some of my colleagues, and I'm like, listen, I was diagnosed with Candida. What do you know about this? And very few people knew about it, even heard of it. And they're like, we don't know a whole lot, but there was a book I read called The Yeast Connection. And I read that sucker cover to cover. And I realized there was really no cure for it because yeast is grown through sugar, fruits, carbohydrates, and sugar. And I was actually feeding it because I was craving it. They call it the feeding the beast, right? The yeast, the beast, the beast, the yeast beast. And anyway, I got really depressed, and I just like, okay, well, this isn't working for me, so I have to start researching it. So I ended up with a multi-level marketing company that I discovered back in the day, and they had a product that really helped me. It was when I really first got introduced to herbs and the synergistic blend of herbs, the right herbs and the right synergy, and started taking it. And I'm telling you, within about a week, I started seeing huge difference where like the brain fog was starting to go away and I was able to talk to people again. And after about a month of taking this product, I was actually up and running again. And everybody who saw me and knew me before was like, what the heck did you do? And I said, well, I started taking this product. So I actually ended up, it was a multi-level marketing company. They're gone now, but they were around back in the day. And I became very well known in that space and climbed the chain and became a pretty big leader in the company. And I won a trip and to Italy. And that's really where I discovered the lymphatic system, about the lymphatic system. And it kind of started making sense. So I had this jigsaw puzzle in my life where I had the candida and I was a personal trainer nutritionist. I knew about the herbs, but nothing was really forming a picture. So I had all these other opportunities out there, but nothing was really making sense to me. And so I was always trying to figure out, like, why did this happen? Because I'm about root causes, not symptoms. Mm-hmm. And so when I learned about the lymphatic system, and it really was when I was in Europe, I was in a clinic with I was actually in Rome, and about 20 people, and a woman actually came back to me and she motioned to me to come out and talk to her. And I talked to her and she asked me if I knew what the lymphatic system was. And I said something with the lymph nodes. That's all I knew. Mm-hmm. And she goes, well, it's where everything stores.
Yeah.
She goes, go back there and marinate. Go back and marinate on that. So I was flying home from Chicago, going from Italy to Chicago. And I had an aha moment. I go, wait a minute, if everything stores there, I bet you yeast stores there. And that's really how the whole lymphatic idea came to me. And I started researching the heck out of this system and blown away by nobody telling me about this. And I didn't know about it. I'm in my 20s. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a nutritionist. Why don't I don't know about this, right? And so I started deep diving into the lymph system and discovered amazing things about the lymphatic system, how it really aligns with the organs. And without our lymphatic system being healthy and cleansed out, our bodies cannot function the way they need to. Mm-hmm. And that's really where my journey started with the lymph system. And then I opened up a wellness clinic and started, we'll talk about that later.
let me go back a minute. So you find out what the problem is, which was the development of extra yeast mm-hmm. in the intestinal tract.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still carbohydrates. What about if you had just moved the carbohydrates out of that causes the high amount of carbohydrates converted into glucose and glycogen in your body? Wouldn't that have made a difference in the accumulation of extra yeast?
Yes, but it's not sustaining. You can't live like that. I went down to like 80 pounds. How do you live like that? Okay. So there was no program that could put me there other than eliminate the foods that I needed to eliminate.
How did it?
There was like 5 things that I could eat.
Okay. How did you get your results, Carol?
Well, it's the same kind of thing. I've got a history of allergies my whole life. So one of the things that you do when you can't keep things in your body or you have reactions to it is you go on a 3-day. So you eliminate everything for 3 days and you start eating one thing at a time for 3 days to see how your body reacts. Mm-hmm. I'm like Nina, I was down to I think I was about 87 pounds. That's when I got scared and went to the Mayo. Mm-hmm. Because it's like I kept losing weight, right? It's like, this is all, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't drive in my car. I couldn't take care of my kids. Like, it was scary. And so I did that elimination diet. I went down the nutrition path and I got in with some nutritionists and we worked out some things that I could eat. And honestly, to start with, it was literally boiled rice. And then you add one thing at a time just to get something in your body again. Along that path, going with the nutritionists, I got in with the naturopathic doctors, and like I did like some crazy stuff like magnetic therapy and stuff. You're just kind of like, you're going, hey, this is kind of weird, but there is sustenance to it now. I mean, like this again, like Nina said, this is like 20 years ago. Well, actually, it's not even that long ago. It's about 10 years ago, and that's how far things have progressed in the naturopathic field. Yeah. But it was the same thing. You just start finding out about the different body systems and what can affect them, and talking to all these doctors and like Chinese medicine and East Indian Ayurvedic medicine. And it was actually the Ayurvedic stuff that got me onto the lymphatics as the system in your body that drains toxins and disease and dead cells. And if your lymphatic system isn't working properly, what happens is you get an overload of toxins in your system and everything starts shutting down. I mean, that's like if your kidneys and your liver can't work, you literally die from toxins.
So what's the combination?
So yeah, that's when
what's the combination between the other cleaning agents in our body, the liver and all these? We have other organs in our body that detoxifies. So what impact was the lymphatic system putting on these other organs that are also designed to filter, to be filtration systems for our body?
Well, Carol, I'm going to let you talk about that second, but I want to say one thing real quick, give an analogy. So I always call it an oil change for your body. So if you have a car, you need an oil change in your car. If you don't have that, what's going to happen to your car? Mm-hmm. It won't function correctly, right? It can blow up, right? So that's how I equate it, as it's an oil change for your body. Even though we have other organs and they do have filtering systems, the lymph system is where everything stores. Okay. Fat, toxins, viruses, even residual illness. So that's why people get the shingles, because the chickenpox virus goes dormant, right? Everything goes dormant. And when the body gets taxed or stressed out or overworked or really, really fatigued, then our bodies become lax, and then those symptoms will start to pop up again because it pulls from what it knows, which is in the dormancy of the lymph system. It's that garbage as well. It's holding on to everything. It hasn't gotten rid of it yet. It's still there. It's just dormant.
So you wind up going, both of you guys, back and forth, spending countless dollars. But in the United States, we pay doctors big money to know these things. So how does that make you feel that you're going into the top hospitals? You're getting medical bills and they're telling you they don't know what's going on. How does that even register in this country where we're supposed to have the top-notch medical scientists and medical healthcare, period?
Well, exactly right. The doctors only know what they learn, and the research doctors are actually a step ahead. But while they're researching things, they aren't the guys that are talking to the general public. Things that filter down have to be tested over 40 years before they're allowed to be given to the public as a safe method. Mm-hmm. So when you go and talk to these doctors, like the Mayo said to me, there's a lot of holistic things out there. There's a lot of other medicines that can actually diagnose different things. But in Western medicine, we've only got proof, like long-term tested proof of certain diseases and how things work in the body. And we've got protocols that we've developed to deal with them that we find that work. And they said, it's not that those are the only ways, and it's just what we've tested. So they've formed this regimen of, this is what we do, and this is how we do it, and this is how we uphold their credo of do no harm. They don't want to go off on tangents because they don't know what the results are going to be. Yeah. Right. I mean, I met an oncologist that said, we've got all kinds of medications that we think will help, kill cancer, but we can't use them because they're all in testing phases. So meanwhile, people are in hospitals doing chemotherapy and radiation and still dying. Right. And like he said to me, my husband was sick and actually died of cancer, colon cancer. And he said to me, I will take your husband off and treat him at home, because the hospital will not treat him with these things that are in testing. Mm-hmm. He says, but I'm willing to take the chance if you're willing to take the chance. Unfortunately, he was too far along, but like that. And that's the problem with the medical system, is that they've got their own constraints of what they can and can't do. And even if the doctors, they find things that may work or may not work, they're still bound by their ethics and their codes. Let me ask like you have to. Quick,
ladies, you talked about, Nina talked about changing the oil, and I'm not a doctor, but I'm just sitting here spinning something. If the lymphatic system holds, let's say, data, chickenpox, measles, so forth and so forth, and have there been enough research to say, okay, if you go in there and you start messing with this lymphatic system, I'm going to get to my point in a second, and you go in there and you start messing with this lymphatic system, doesn't that also mean that you have a tendency, if you don't know what you're doing, that you can release those things back in the body and cause even more damage, like recirculate the shingles, recirculate the, is there any, is there a technique to this so this doesn't happen? Because she just said it. If these things are dormant and all of a sudden you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna cause you're gonna open up Pandora's box.
Well, absolutely. And I'm glad I'm jumping out of my seat right now because you're spot on. Because unfortunately, here's the deal. I learned about this years ago, and I opened up a wellness clinic in 2006, and it became my signature process. We call it extract, and we can go into that more. But bottom line is, there's a right way and a wrong way.
Right.
And unfortunately, I was the pioneer in this space for a while. No one even heard of the lymphatic system. Now, many years later, that's the new buzzword. Everyone's talking about lymphatic drainage this, lymphatic drainage that. Now, because everybody's talking about it, they're jumping on the bandwagon. But what's happening is there's a lot of people that really don't fully understand the lymphatic system itself and all the intricacies of it, and really how to move the fluid correctly so that it doesn't cause a backup or a bottleneck, like you're saying.
I mean, yeah.
And so it's very important that you get somebody who is trained in the lymphatic drainage, that they don't just say they know it and they really know what they're doing, because it can backfire and back up and cause more issues on a higher level, on a greater level. And so the first thing is to create awareness. And then the second thing is to make sure that if you do go to somebody, that they know what they're doing and they're able to release the fluid and the toxins the right way.
Well, how do I
and
know?
That they're certified and licensed or licensed.
How do I know if they know what they're doing? How do I know what is considered an accredited university, accredited college, accredited program? I shared with Carol, when I had my first studio, I bought in a massage therapist that was doing that. Okay, I don't know that what he's supposed to have or blah, blah, blah. It's not my field. But if I'm suffering from these things, like you said, and I'm dependent, and this guy is pitching to me, or this female is pitching to me, okay, well, we need to target your lymphatic system. What do I need to know or ask? Or they can just come up with a piece of paper and say, I'm certified.
Yeah, you're right. Carol, want to share that one?
Well, yeah. So there's four, but three in America. Sort of like people that actually train this. It was developed by the doctors Emil Vater back in 1946, where they did cognitive digestive therapy. So they drain your sinuses. And since then, there's been all kinds of research and studies on the lymphatic system and the discovery of the lymph nodes in various parts of your body. And like they've done all kinds of mapping. So if you go to a massage therapist or anyone that says they're doing this, ask them what training they have, like what kind of training. And it should be Vater, Close, or Norton. And Norton also covers all the people in Europe, right? There's another one over there that they teach that is only taught in Germany, actually. Mm-hmm. So if they haven't taken training from one of those facilities, they're not doing it properly.
How widespread is
certificate programs out there that teach?
How widespread is the teaching and how of this particular method? And then how many people are actually suffering with illnesses that is completely related to the improper treatment or not examining the lymphatic system? Because if you guys are both going to doctors and you're in bed for 6 months, you're almost a year, you're one step away from death, and you're going to the hospital, I'm kind of confused. What's going on with this?
Well, so once I discovered about this lymphatic system, I actually went and got a lot of treatments done to see what was going on. And so for about a year, when I was in my recovery, I went to a lot of people that said they did lymphatic drainage. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see any difference at all. Very, very little difference. It's a very light, traditional lymphatic is very light touch. They move it from one node to the other, and then the body eliminates it through the colon naturally. But if the body doesn't eliminate, guess what's going to happen? Backs right back up, right? So what we've done, what's that? What'd you say? Sorry.
And stores it, yeah.
Yeah. So what we've done is, since 2006, we're 18 years old, is we've created a program or a process, we'll call it a technique, called extract, which actually moves the fluid up towards the heart and down towards the heart, which is the direction it's supposed to go. We actually pump the fluid out, and then we redirect it to the bladder so the body eliminates it like that. So we know it's getting rid of it instead of storing it back, because people eliminate a lot quicker through the bladder than they do the colon, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's our proprietary process. We are actually considered SLD, which is a simple lymphatic drainage technique. And then there's MLD, which is more the medical. We are not medical. We're proprietary, simple lymphatic drainage, where we actually been doing this for 18 years. We've worked on thousands of clients. People see and feel our difference within about 7 minutes, even in a demo. It's a full body. We start at the legs. We work our way up to the arm, face, head, stomach, and kidneys. And people are so hooked by this. We actually have a wait list of clients. We can't service all of our clients because they see results so quickly, and it ranges like crazy. What's that? I'm sorry.
This sounds expensive. Sounds expensive. Who's covering
It's not.
Does insurance cover it? Do I have to pay for this out of my pocket? Is there an age restriction? I mean, what's the protocol here?
Go ahead, Carol.
So it's actually not that bad. It's no different than, it's actually cheaper than a lot of massage places. Like, our average rate for a session is $120. And we do recommend that you do 5 to 7, because what we're doing is we're retraining the lymphatic system in the flow. It has a cellular memory, just like your muscles have a muscle memory. And there's no pump for it. So you have to be active all the time, consistently, to keep your lymphatic system flowing. You also have to be able to have the lymph nodes release what they're holding on to. So a lot of times there's not enough muscle movement or breathing movement for that to happen. So that's what we do, is we actually work with the lymphatic system to have it release the fluid, so that the lymph veins can actually gather the rest that's stored and keep the process going through the lymph nodes. So that, because you asked a question earlier that I wanted to address is, about the lymphatic system. It's actually part of your immune system. Mm-hmm. So it's like, there's other filters in your body. Yes. The lymphatic system is the first filter. And from there, it captures any disease in the lymph nodes, which is why they get big, and calls on the T cells, which are built in your bone marrow, stored in your spleen. And when something shows up in your lymph nodes, it calls on those T cells to come and destroy it. And once it's destroyed, then they release it, and it goes, as Nina said, back through your heart, and is pumped out through your colon and your kidneys. And again, if the colon is backed up, it can't do its job, right? It can't eliminate. So your body starts storing all of that in all of the surrounding tissue, which is why you get all of these diseases stored.
And
so yes, there are other filters, but this is part of the filter system. It's not one of them. Like, they're all connected, right?
Synergistically,
so
they work together. Yeah.
What's the difference between?
It's how your whole body process works.
You guys mentioned something. It's 2 different types of treatments here. The one you're talking about, and you said medical. Clarify those 2.
Go ahead, Carol.
Okay. It's like, you want to go?
Yeah.
So MLD is what it's been called, manual lymphatic drainage. And it's actually taught by those facilities that I was saying, like Vaughter, Close, and Norton. And that's a system that deals with edema, like lymphedema and edema. So either like swelling in the body that's caused by some kind of trauma. I think that's like the first level is if it's hereditary, because you can have hereditary lymphedema, which is just your system misfiring, or the lymphatic system not working properly, and you're born with that. And the secondary is if you've been in an accident or had a disease like cancer, where it's actually affected your lymph nodes. They've had to remove them. There's some damage to the body, right? So in MLD, it's trained at a medical level. They don't even train it unless you have taken, like like the biggest ones is the physiotherapists, which are almost doctors, like they're on the doctor training path. Doctors themselves, like, you have to be in the medical field and know anatomy and physiology in order to take MLD as a training. Massage therapists can take it because they do go through the same 4 years of anatomy and physiology, but it is a specialized training where they use compression to keep fluid out of the tissue. And like Nina said, they move the fluid from one area where the nodules are to the next area where the lymph nodes are. and then they use compression and wrapping and taping to keep the fluid from going back into those tissues. That's under the presumption that the body will pick it up and actually do its process. But again, if your colon is backed up, you've got a lot of stuff going on in your body that's already stored. It'll just eventually go back to where it was.
Now,
so you have to actually push it all the way through the body, which is what we're doing in the simple lymphatic drainage, which is, it's like a membership to the gym. It's a membership for your lymphatic system to relearn how to release that.
Now you guys,
so you can learn how to do it at home. We have some.
You guys just mentioned something
Sorry?
earlier, and you said something about you guys' treatment and then the medical treatment. If this has been around in some of the, I'm trying to get clarification. If some of the medical people knew about this or is trained in it, why didn't they send you guys to these people to get blood work and get tested?
You know, we're trying to figure these things out. We don't know.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So there's no blood work to say you have issues that I'm aware of. I could be wrong, but I don't think that there's blood work that shows it. Usually the symptoms are fluid retention in the body, right? Yeah, that's usually the one that they see. And so then they send you to the lymphedema specialists because you've got all this swelling in your body or water retention. The normal process is backed up. There's no way to tell that that's happening, right? Unless all of a sudden you have kidney problems or you have, cancer developing in your body or your lymph nodes, something gets a problem where they say, oh, we have to take those out because something's growing there. Like those are all signs that the whole system is backed up, right? Not just your lymphatics, but your entire system. And it's always late stage something before they go, oh, man, maybe we should do something about this. And even then they don't treat your lymphatic system. They treat whatever they think the cause of that is, right? Okay. So what we're doing, and that now becomes a medical problem, right? Which is what we're talking about MLD. With SLD, we're the preventative. Like we're saying, get this moving and get this getting eliminated out of your body before it becomes something big.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I appreciate you ladies coming on and sharing the importance of treating, understanding, and being accountable for your health, especially when it's concerning the lymphatic system. How can the viewers reach out to you for your services and to know more about the importance of your service and making sure that they don't become victims of someone that claims to be an expert in this particular area?
So just so you know, we are an academy. So we actually teach this process. So we are right now eagerly looking for students that want to learn this technique. It is an online academy. So they can go to our website, which is XTRACT. So it's extractdetox.com. And they can learn all about it. If they're wanting somebody to work on them, we do have facilitators and instructors around the nation that can actually help as well. If they go to our website, they'll be able to learn more about that, or they can contact us through our contact information page if they want more information on either receiving it or learning it. And we are accredited. We do have a certification board. They will get a designation of an extract facilitator, extract instructor. And just so you know, extract stands for X is cancel, T is toxic, R is release, A is accelerated, C is cellular, and T is transformation. So It is our proprietary process. We've been doing it for many, many years. We're not new kids on the block. We are just now expanding. Name. That's
Say that again,
show your shirt,
because I think we lost.
Here's my shirt. X for X is cancel, T is toxic, R is release, A is accelerated, C is cellular, and T is transformation.
Okay, ladies, I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to let you guys, you definitely got that beast mindset. And on this show, we definitely like to make sure that people stay healthy, keep their minds positive where it needs to go. And more importantly, making sure they stay healthy. Nina, leave the viewers with something special that only you know how to leave them with. And then after her, then Carol, you leave them with something. And I'm going to close this episode out.
So I'm going to say be the change you want to see, because we can't always depend on other people. We need to start taking our health in our own hands and start having an open mind to explore other options other than the medical. I think medical is great for a response emergency, but when it comes to preventative sickness and disease, you're going to have to start to look at other ways. That's my...
Girl, give me something.
Yeah, I agree with that. You have to be your own health advocate. The doctors are doing the best they can with what they know, but there are all kinds of ways of preventing disease in the first place. So, find out what those are. Learn about your immune system. It's so important that we keep ourselves clear so that those diseases don't start up in us in the first place. Prevention is the best thing that you can do.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show.